I'll say this, he asked about the people who are seduced by Washington, who go there, they lose their minds, and it obviously has happened a lot. We've been disappointed by a lot of people that go there. The only thing seductive about Washington to me is the crab cakes, and that is the truth. I don't care for it there. I prefer to be back home. I prefer to be with my wife and my boys. But I'll tell you this, the only way, the people that have gone there and done it the right way, people like Duncan Hunter, 28 years in Congress. If you walked in here now, you'd never knew you'd think he was a farmer from Oklahoma. That's it. Just a normal, everyday guy. He'd sit down and talk football with you. He surrounded himself with the right people, and he came back to his district often and did town halls. Those are the only way to do it. Once you're in Congress, once you have a congressional pin on, you need to come do this. And maybe get yelled at every once in a while. Maybe have someone who disagrees with you, who doesn't call you congressman. Yes, sir, can I get that for you, sir? Can I buy that? That's not healthy for the soul to be surrounded by yes men your entire life. And that's why you have people who've immersed themselves in politics, immersed themselves in people that just praise you all the time. You end up with Barack Obama. You end up with someone so consumed with himself that he gives a speech on the war in Afghanistan to West Point and uses the word I 43 times. Never served a day in his life. And so that's how. You just got to surround yourself with the right people. I'll tell you this, before you ask me who it is, there's one man I trust implicitly right now. Well, there's more than one, but Trent Franks, Congressman Trent Franks of Congressional District 2 here in Arizona. I've already warned him on the phone. He's become a good friend. I've warned him I will be attached to his hip the minute I get there. He is incorruptible, uncorruptible, I should say, and he's fantastic. And he knows the right way to go, and he'll keep people out of trouble. So, sir?
Two things about the border. A lot of folks are saying the border is secure.
Oh.
It takes one suitcase of anthrax to come across the border to wipe out over 300,000 people. So when folks say it's secure, they don't understand the severity of the problem. The second issue is how much are illegals costing us as taxpayers every year? Do you know the number?
Mm-hmm. In the state, it's $2 billion.
Now, how much is it costing me as a taxpayer?
In the state, it's costing $2 billion to educate, incarcerate, and hospitalize illegal immigrants. This is in a state with a $3 billion budget shortfall. Well, I wonder if we could fix that problem. And I certainly hope you're not accusing Janet Napolitano of not being aware of what's happening on the border.
It would be more personable if you knew how much it's costing me as a taxpayer. Not $2 billion, but it's costing me $1,600 a year out of my pocket every year. That becomes more personable than $2 billion.
Well, there you go, $1,600 a year.
But you need to verify that because I've heard it from $1,600 to $2,000. So when you get it personal,
Well, now you just threw me off. I just told you $1,600.
you can verify it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Trust me there.
That's right. Ma'am?
Yeah, one of the problems in Congress, like the man who supposedly wrote the healthcare bill, it's actually his office that does it. He never read it because it's too much legalese. What can you do to make sure you have people that are really in your office that are doing what the American people want and not what they want? Because this is one of the problems with term limits, is these people are there for years and they're running everything.
You're right about, well, she asked about how do you get the power out of the, I think what you're getting at is how do you get the power out of the hands of the staffers, out of the hands of everything else, and start reading the bills. Well, a good way to start reading the bills is not pass 2,000-page bills. Gabrielle Giffords has voted for 3 2,000-page bills in the last 2 years.
She read
Never read one of them. Of course she didn't read one of them. But that's the problem, and you ask how we change that. I hate to continue to give this answer because it's too simplistic. You only change that by winning elections. There's no magic elixir for that. There's no statute, no legislative action you can take. You win elections. You replace Gabrielle Giffords. I mean, when they passed SB 1070, it was what, 17 pages? The Constitution was how many pages? Yet it takes this government 2,000 pages to take over your healthcare system. It's amazing what we have in Washington. It's really sad. It's really sad.
Regulatory agency budgets also, or get rid of them and then take care of them.
Preach it.
Say that.
What are your thoughts on federal funding for the space program and the space shuttle replacement?
He asked for the thoughts on federal funding for the space program and shuttle replacement. Look, NASA is one of those things that if it affects our national security, which in a lot of ways it does, we can't sacrifice national security right now. We have to make sacrifices elsewhere. National security, we can bury our heads in the sand as long as we want. There is a group of people in this world that exist to kill Americans right now. They have declared war on the United States of America. That is what they want, and we better realize that and remain vigilant. And that applies to NASA.
So do you agree or disagree with Obama's strategy on trying to privatize the space program? I think it's too early to try to privatize something of that magnitude.
Well, you'd be hard-pressed to find anything out there that I wouldn't want to privatize, but but NASA, I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you this, the national security aspect of it, no. We don't privatize national security ever. These other things that they're doing, fine, privatize whatever you want, but national security, that is the job of the United States government. So we don't privatize that. Sir?
I have a unique solution for you. Most people who were involved in building the two walls, or a single wall to keep the alien illegals out of this country, never thought of barbed wire on the top. I think chicken wire, barbed wire, any kind of wire would add, because I see how they climb up. They actually climb up straight, then they actually go this way, and they still manage to get over the wall. Wouldn't barbed wire answer that problem?
He asked about having barbed wire on top of the wall, on top of the double fence. They have it. They have it, and obviously we don't have it in this state. In this state, down on our southern border, we literally have a metal fence that is a single rail this tall. A chihuahua could walk through our border. And they do, and all the time. But they have it in San Diego. At that double layer fence in San Diego, there are big segments where they have the wire on top, you're right, because it prevents a lot of the climbing over. Because at this point in time, the people who are coming here illegally, they have some really advanced things they're doing. They literally will weld handholds and footholds onto the outside of the fence, and they'll do it quickly. They come up and weld on hand and footholds, spring over the top. We have these Border Patrol agents, they'll do on a shift. Their job will be to go cut the handholds off of the fence. So, you need to be aware of these problems, ma'am.
I have a solution. We have two fences, and in the middle there's a moat, and it's filled with alligators. Let's try it.
Oh, another human rights thing.
She had a bit of a medieval proposal for the fence involving a moat and alligators. I think just the paved road in between it with the Border Patrol agents can zip up and down and arrest people will be fine. Ma'am.
I want to get back to the issue about funding and contributions
Yes, ma'am.
for your campaign.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Are
I was
you
just
ringing?
curious, do you, as a candidate now, get funding from a national Republican in any way?
Yes and no. Now the RNC and these other groups, see, the campaign's finance laws are as complicated as your taxes in this country at this point in time. But there are federal PACs that can give money, and a lot of the members of Congress and Senate, they have their own PAC and they can give money, and the members themselves can give money. But as far as the Republican Party cutting you a big check, I don't believe that's legal. I don't believe the RNC can do it. I think the NRCC can do it, but I'll have to check on that. Our campaign finance people take care of all that because it's so confusing by this point in time. You have to really make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed to make sure you're in line. Did that answer your question, ma'am? A big fat I don't know? So, how about that?
I think the NRCC
Nancy.
can.
Can McCain give us $1 million out of his $100 million war chest? Is that possible for him to personally support these Republicans that are trying to take over Congress?
No, not John McCain and every other American, no matter what their position is, they're subject to the same individual limits you are, or their PACs are subject to the same individual limits that PACs are.
Jesse, we have high unemployment, and yet Gabrielle Giffords wrote a bill in the Congress that would double the HB2, whatever, visas for foreign people to come in here as teachers, nurses, computer programmers, and technical people. What is your feeling on that?
We cannot, right now, with over 16% real unemployment, it's not